Hi, friends. My name's Alan Wasserman. I've been serving as the president of the Shore Music Educators Association of New Jersey. And I would like to share with you a slideshow that I just gave to the group about how to use Zoom settings for piano lessons. I've been teaching online for 4 or 5 years now using several different platforms. And I have students that are in many different locations. And so I'd like to show you a good way to set up your session using Zoom in particular. So let's take a look here at settings and ideas for using Zoom with music lessons. First, I do recommend that you sign up for a free Zoom account because signing into an account gives you much higher control of many of the settings. Let's talk about some sound ideas, some of the ways to make you sound better in Zoom. One thought is to remember to mute your microphone when you're not speaking. It'll give the system a better Wi Fi coverage of the things it needs to be carrying. It'll help the system work better. And on top of that, it hides any breathing or eating sounds that you're making. To do this, you move your cursor on the screen and you'll see a microphone icon in the lower left corner of your screen. When muted, there'll be a red line going through that microphone. That means people cannot hear you on the other side. If you press it again, you'll unmute and people will be hearing what you're saying. Notice next to that microphone, to the right of that is an arrow. That if you click on that arrow next to that microphone, you will be allowed 3 choices. The bottom one lets you enter audio settings box. In the middle, notice you could test your speakers and microphone. Up above that, you could select a speaker for the sound from the other person to come out into your room. And we'll speak about that. I often put mine into a real nice amplifier, so it's good and loud in the room. Above that, at the very top, you select which microphone you would like to use. I only had one microphone plugged in at the time that I took this photo, and so that's why you're just seeing the one. Now, remember that playing music is very different than speaking over a computer because online audio uses electronics to even out the volume. The great thing about Zoom over many other platforms is that they allow you to turn those off. They call it original sound for making music have dynamics. And here's how to do that. Click on the audio settings, the bottom choice. After you've clicked on that arrow, the bottom choice is audio settings. And then we're going to go in and disable options that have the computer control your volume. Notice as this box opens, on the left is the list of different settings, and we're in the audio setting. On the right-hand side, the middle thing says microphone. And it's important for playing music that you look at the indentation. You want to unclick the box that says automatically adjust microphone volume because you want to control your microphone volume yourself instead of having the computer decide how to do that. Down below that, oh, and I should say just above that, notice there's a bar that lets you control your input volume. So you should test yourself and put that bar into a good place so you're getting a nice input level signal, not too high, not too low. Notice down at the bottom right of this screen is a box that says advanced. You want to click on the advanced button on the bottom of that screen and it will allow you several more choices. Notice the top one, I do check, I want it filled in blue, to show in-meeting option to enable original sound from microphone. That means that when you're using your normal system, in the top left of your screen, you'll see a toggle switch that either says turn on original sound or turn off original sound, and you'll be able to go between the two. Next important thing is to notice that just below that, it says audio processing. We want to take suppress persistent background noise and disable that. Click on that little arrow next to it. You'll see you could choose to disable. Same thing with the choice below that. Suppress intermittent background noise is also a good idea because when you're performing, we don't want the computer to suddenly dismiss things, of course, or to suddenly suppress things. You should leave the echo cancellation on auto. It is great to have it control just in case an echo loop was to start. So let's talk about a couple of the visual ideas when you're teaching online and when you're using Zoom or any other platform. Remember that only your face will show your emotions now. You should look at the camera, not at the screen. Notice that if I look down and I'm watching my screen, the people looking at me think I'm not looking at them. Whereas if I look up where the camera dot is, it seems I'm right engaged in with the person watching. Smile more than you usually would now, because that's all we have to work with. In normal teaching and normal being in person, there's all these cues that are coming from in person being together that are not there now. So your smile is everything. Your eyes, you have to smile with your eyes, as they say, and stay engaged as you're working. Now, you can turn off your cameras so people on the other side do not see you. And in Zoom, you move your icon on the screen and you want to click on the little camera icon that was next to the microphone. This would make it so that other people can't see you while you're on there in case you want to scratch your nose or look at your phone for a moment or anything else like that. This will give you that opportunity. When you do this, your name is written across the screen, but you can control what is seen there. You can print something else if you'd like, or you could put a photo up there. I'm using this photo of Alan Wasserman cookies that were made as a hostess gift at a house recital that I performed. If you click on that arrow next to the camera to choose video settings, you could go in and control more things as well. Now, here I only have one camera set up when I did this photograph, but usually I have 2 or even 3 cameras set up, particularly one from an overhead. And you can have a side view this way as well, or you could have one down at your foot if you'd like to do that. You could also choose virtual backgrounds if you want things behind you, if you don't want to just look like you're in a room somewhere. In video settings, Zoom will also let you control if your look is mirrored or not. And this is important if you want to share and post sheet music in the middle of a lesson. Another thing Zoom is great for because you can just share your screen so easily. And you can also annotate on that as well and circle things on the music for the students. Well, notice that when you go in video settings, the center box here, my video, says mirror my video. And you should fool around with whether you'd like that or not. A great advantage of Zoom is the ease of recording your session. But if you're the one that started or are hosting the session, there's a couple things you need to do before the meeting in order to let students record. They're called participants in this, remember? You want to first go to the Zoom website and log into your account, zoom.us. Then click recordings on the left-hand side, and this will bring you to the recording settings where there's 2 tabs, cloud recordings and local recordings, right next to each other. But more important is to the right of those 2 where there's the word settings. And if you click on that settings page, notice I have the cursor over there on settings, clicking on that will allow you to come to this page where you can allow local recording. Notice I've turned it to the blue side, to allow hosts and participants to record the meeting to a local file. I also click host can give participants the permission to record locally. Locally means it goes to their actual computer as compared to going to the cloud. Now, in the meeting, when things are going, you give them permission to record by first clicking on this Participants tab that's down on the bottom. That will open up the list on the right side of your screen. So next, you find the person's name and hover over the More box. By clicking on that More box, you get several choices. In this case, I'm going to click for Margaret Johnson to allow to record the session. Now, please note that allow record will only be there if the person's on a computer using Zoom. If they're on their phone or an iPad, that's called the browser version, and they can't get as deep into some of these settings. So it's why I prefer working actually with my computer. So here's how to allow other people to record the session that's going on. I hope you enjoyed seeing some of these ideas of how to set your sound for the optimal use for live music playing like this. Remember, if you have any questions at all, feel free to email me at alanwass@aol.com, and I'd be happy to speak with you much more about all these good things. Wishing you luck and happiness and good success as you work using online techniques to teach. All the best to you then, and I'll look forward to our next adventure.